What's going on, guys? Aaron Goldsten here, and in this video I want to share a tip that if you don't do anything else, you could not read any books, you could not listen to any self-improvement, you could not go to any seminars, you could not buy any programs. I recommend doing all that, by the way. I read lots of books. I listen to 2 to 3 hours of self-improvement a day. I've been doing that for over 10 years, over a decade straight. I've had mentors, I've gone to seminars, I paid people lots of money, $1,000, $5,000, $7,000, sometimes just to teach me a couple things, just to kind of take me to the next level. I got my Dropbox, guys, I got over 1.5 terabytes of programs, all high-end expensive programs. I've gone through probably now, I've gone through well over $100,000 of programs. Maybe getting closer to $200,000-$300,000 of programs. Sometimes, guys, what I do is I'll find someone I really like and I just buy all their programs, and then I only go through like half of them, and then I find someone else and I get all their programs, right? But hey, if I got $20,000 of programs and I went through only $10,000 in a specific area, I'm sure you would agree that's still pretty good, right? I'm still learning some stuff, still getting ahead. And what you will notice is when you start this journey and you do it yourself, you actually get addicted to it. Like, I get addicted to it. If I wake up and I haven't been listening to self-improvement for about half the day, I feel like something's missing in my life. Like I feel like a craving for it. I've just conditioned myself from listening to it so much that it's like if I'm not consistently feeding my brain with a fair amount of really good information every day, it's kind of like I'm missing it, which I think is a good thing. What I want to share with you in this video is something you can do that even if you do nothing else, if you do this one thing, you will still see success and you will still make money. Now, what is this one thing? And before I tell this to you, I just want to tell you guys, making money is a good thing. It's good to be rich. It's good to create lots of wealth. When you have money, you have freedom. I made a status, it was actually yesterday on my main Facebook, about how one of my side businesses did 36 grand last month, or not last month, it did $36,000 in the last 31 days. Okay, so it's doing over $1,000 a day, and it's not even my main business, it's my side business. And this guy commented on it, and he was a cool guy. I don't know if he was being funny or serious, and he's like, "Man, look at all this money, you must be getting a lot of women." Huh, bro? Question mark. And he said something else besides women, but I'm not trying to, I'm trying to be nice here, or I'm trying to not say mean stuff like he was saying. And I commented on it and I said, I'm not making the money for the women. I'm making the money for myself. I'm making the money for the freedom money buys. When you have money, you have freedom. You can do stuff. Just yesterday. So yesterday, time of making this video, yesterday was Saturday. And I like to go clubbing a couple times a week. Even though I don't drink that much, I like to go clubbing. I love socializing with people. I love going out there and meeting people. It's amazing. It's fucking great. So it was Halloween yesterday. So we go to this one spot. I meet up my buddy at this one spot, and it was $10 to park. So I pay the $10. And then, guys, I went to the place we're meeting at to use the bathroom, and there was a long line for the bathroom. Like, it would probably be about 20 minutes. And I drink a lot of water, so I'm like using the bathroom fairly often. So I said, all right, I can't wait. So I literally went next door, and it was a $10 cover. And I paid the $10 cover just to use the bathroom, and then I left. All right? And then we met up, and then we actually met up and we left right there, and we went to another spot, and then we paid $5 to park and then $20 to get in. All right? And then that's the spot we stayed at. But the reason I tell you this, guys, is, that's not a lot of money. Right, the $10 to park and the $10, I literally paid $10 just to take a leak, guys. It's literally what I did, just to pee, all right? But I tell it to you because I'm at the point to where I'm making money to where, I can do that. Some people, they would freak out about that. Oh, fuck, $10. I make $10 an hour. And if you make $10 an hour with taxes, you're making $7 an hour. So for them, it might not be worth it. But when you have money, you can have conveniences, right? It's nice that I was able to do that. Now I'm at the point now where when I travel, right, I'm going to hang out with my buddy in a few weeks, and I'm going to LA. When I travel, am I at the point to where I can charter a private jet yet? No, because I'm not at the point to where I'm gonna, it's feasible for me to throw 35 grand on a private jet just to go to and from, LA, right? But I'm obviously working on getting there because I'm keep growing these businesses. But it's nice that I can do that. It's nice when, you get home and it's nice having a lot of money in your account to where if anything happens, you don't have to worry about it. The money's covered. Something could happen to my car right now. I could need new tires. I could need $2,000, in work, and I could just pay it right away. I mean, I could go out and buy another car and just swipe my debit card, and I pay for the car, get a brand new car, pay for it in cash. It's nice having all that. It's nice having money for that. You guys know what's the number one reason couples argue? It's about over money. Now, I've never been in that situation because I'm not married. I started, it was about 5 years ago now. It was the first year I made $100,000 with one of my businesses. So when I had a girlfriend, guys, we would just do stuff. If we wanted to go eat at a nice restaurant, we would go there. All right? It's good to have money because you can enjoy life. And the more money you have, the more things you can do that you enjoy. When you go on, and I use this example all the time, but when you go on a trip, you don't have to stay at the shitty place, right, to where the beds are squeaking and there's bugs. You can actually afford to stay at the nice hotel where they have room service and, there's no bugs in the apartment, and you pay a little bit more for it, but you have the money for it. Money allows you to have conveniences. It allows you to live the good life. Instead of you washing your car and scrubbing it and doing all of it, you can just take it somewhere and have them wash the car. Or you can do like I did, and I went on the internet, I found someone to come to me, and they detailed my car. Right, it's a convenience. Right, it's nice to have a nice car. You know what else is nice? Having a nice, clean home. Well, you could clean it yourself, or you could hire someone to clean it. It's nice when you can, go to the park. I like to go to the park. So when you can go to the park, and you come home, and your home's cleaned, and your car is detailed, and your businesses that you had running actually made you enough money while you were at the park to pay for the cleaning person and to pay to get your car detailed, and you still made more money on top of it. That's a great thing, all right? It's good to get wealthy. And actually, the more that everyone gets rich, the higher everyone's standard of living will be. A lot of people, they don't think that. They think some people think when you get wealthy, you're taking money from someone else, and it's like you're stealing their wealth to make you wealthy. That's not how it is at all. If everyone's being a productive member and everyone's out there producing and making things happen and being successful, the rising tide raises all ships. Everyone's standard of living increases. Just look, and obviously we're not there now, but if you compare it to the past, that's what you'll see. Think about the average person's standard of living 1,000 years ago. What was the average person's life like 1,000 years ago? No air conditioning, no heating. Living in log cabins. If that, right? If that. I'm not 100% sure what was going on 1,000 years ago. I haven't studied, but living in log cabins, right? Standard of living was very low. People would get they would get bites from bugs, and they would get sick and they die. Moms would have kids, and the moms would die from having the kids. Not all the time, but that was very common. All right, people would die at 40 years old. Right, 40, 45 years old was like a common age for people to die. Now, look at today. The standard of living has risen. You could literally, guys, and back in the day, what would people work, right? We had the farmer, right? So the farmer, 7 days a week, from sun up to sundown, was working the fields. The baker was going to the baker shop, right? My neighbor up the street was Jeff Baker. Good. His last name was Baker because there's a good chance a few generations ago, his ancestors were bakers. They were at the baking shop, working their butts off 7 days a week. Now, guys, you can have someone, they can get a job, do like numb work 40 hours a week, and have a higher standard of living than all those people. Sure, they're not going to be living in a castle, but they could be living in an apartment that has air conditioning, that is heating. They can have a car, they can still have money to do stuff, and they can be working less, doing easier work, and having a higher standard of living than people way back in the day. You guys see how that works? So as long as we can keep that going, the standard of living will rise for everyone. Everyone's standard of living will increase. My goal, and the reason I do this stuff, is that 1% of the world is considered wealthy. It's my goal to double that. Before I die, my lifelong goal is to have 2% of the world be wealthy. So instead of you talking about the 1%, everyone being wealthy, I want to double that. I want to bring other people that are in the middle and at the bottom up to the 1%. When I die, I wanted to say that I doubled it, and the top 1% became the top 2%. And the reason, guys, I'm doing that, why not 5 or 10%? Well, it's pretty simple. Some people are not ready. Some people, they land on my videos, and they don't watch the videos, right? Some people are so far out there and they don't believe it's possible for them to get wealthy that they're not even going to try. They're never going to listen to anything, and they're going to suppress their desire to get rich for the rest of their life, and they will be unhappy about it. You'll see people, why do you think people, drink all the time? Why do you think people turn to sugar as a way to cope with problems? Now, it could be more, of course, than wealthy. It could be they don't have the relationship they want. It could be they don't have the health that they want. But I know that I'm not going to be able to get everyone wealthy because everyone's not going to listen to me. And to get wealthy, it does take some work. It does take some learning. But I know that if I can get, out of the 99% of people, I'm sure I can get a solid 1% of them to listen to me, and I can help them with what I've learned to create wealth. I've done it for other people, and I'm looking to do it for more people as well. So what's the one thing you can do, getting back on track, that will allow you to get wealthy without going through any self-improvement or learning anything? It's simple. Observe what rich people do and copy them. There are certain traits that wealthy people have that other people don't have. When you know what those traits are, and you want to start to mimic them and duplicate them. And I do this myself. Sometimes, guys, I'll be listening to an audiobook, or I'll be at a seminar, and I'll be hearing a self-improvement guy, a rich person talk, and I'll listen to the lessons that they teach. But sometimes just from observing them, you will see things in the way that sometimes it's the words that they say that convey certain... someone's calling. We're gonna ignore it. That conveys certain ideas. So, for example, a lot of poor people. One of the things they say is, whenever something good could happen, it always ends up being bad. Well, you hang out with some wealthy people, and they say anything that could go good usually ends up going good. And you hear a couple people say that. In the back of my mind, I say, wow. I just learned a lesson from them. They have an optimistic view on life. When an opportunity presents itself, instead of assuming it's going to be bad and turn out bad, they assume it's going to be good. Maybe I should start thinking like that. A lot of also wealthy people, guys, are in pretty good shape. Not all of them, but the average rich person compared to the average poor person, the average rich person, a higher percentage of them are in good shape. They work out, they exercise, they eat healthy. So, what do I say? Okay, well, I need to be optimistic and assume the best, but also, health is important. If everyone's being healthy, I should do the same thing. Now, the other things you hear them do is they all read self-improvement, right? So that's another thing, but if you didn't even do that and you just observe them carefully, you can start to observe them carefully, what they do, how they act, how they talk to different people. You can just start to mimic it, become a sponge, absorb what they do. Because obviously, guys, if all the rich people are doing these 10 things, and you just absorb them and you start to do those 10 things, don't you think your income might start to go up? One of the other things they'll do is if you listen to people's stories, a lot of them talk about how they take chances. One of the guys I consider a mentor of mine does about 50 grand a month. He talks about how he went through bankruptcy twice. He's been through bankruptcy twice. Now he's making 50 grand a month. You'll hear other people. I believe Dan Kennedy went through bankruptcy as well. And you hear about people that it's like a third of the people that started the Fortune 1000 companies went through bankruptcy at least once. So, what do you learn by that? Well, this is what I learned. I don't learn that, hey, I should file bankruptcy. But what made them file bankruptcy? Well, probably they started the business. They took a chance. They put everything in it. It didn't work out well. And they got to the point where they're so far behind they had to file bankruptcy. But they were still able to start over and be successful. So what should that show me? That, hey, it's okay to take chances, right? If everything looks good, right? I don't want to live all closed off life. If everything looks good and there's a good opportunity, I should take it. I should buy the program. I should make the investment. A lot of times you got to spend money. You got to spend money on information. You got to spend money on products. You got to spend money on inventory. Sometimes you got to spend money on employees. Sometimes you got to spend money on software. Right? That's what they do. You hear about Commerza, worth about $600 million. started a bunch of software companies that all failed, then started one that he got going, and I think he's sold that one for like $300 million, and then he's built other ones. He talks about how he was like, he owed 50 grand to this person, 100 grand to this person. They all spend money. So when I come across an opportunity and everything looks good and that's something I want to do, in the back of my head, even though they didn't specifically say that, I look at all these rich people and I say, wow, they all took opportunities. They all took chances financially. I should probably do the same thing. And then when mom and dad and friends and family are all saying, be safe, don't take risks, I look at them, nothing wrong with them. I love mom and dad, hanging out with them later. I love friends and family, hung out with friends before, but if they're not rich, I'm not going to take advice from them when it comes to being wealthy. They're all going to say, be conservative, don't spend your money, just save your money and don't take any risk. Well, none of them are rich. All the rich people take risks, so what do you think I should do? Probably take risks. So the lesson of this video, guys, if there was going to be a lesson, a bit of information, something I can share with you is, you should take risks. I think that's a great thing. But observe what rich people do. And don't just listen to the words they tell you in their teachings of the lesson, but observe what they're doing before. What can you pick up on about them that multiple rich people have in common that they're not openly sharing with you that you can incorporate into your life as well?